Sophie, I just want to welcome you to my conversations with Clarice. Today, we're going to talk about how people make changes in their lives, massive changes, and it's usually to have a better life. They're not happy with where they are. They are frightened of the unknown, but something actually happens where they decide enough is enough. I deserve so much better. And they actually move on. And it usually works out extremely well. So I wanted to talk to you about your experience, and please share.
Okay, well, thank you for having me. First and foremost, loving being here with you to have a conversation. I love the topic. It brings back so many memories of every transition that I've had in life. I think perhaps one of the most impactful ones was what changed me from being an employee to becoming an entrepreneur. Because did you know, you might not think so, because I am now a speaker, I do marketing, I do mentoring, I love what I do. I'm so excited every day with all the people that I get to speak to. But did you know it wasn't always that way? I actually started off as an accountant. I was an accountant. Did you know that? Well, I became an accountant because I had my kids young, like you may know. I had them when I was a teenager. And so I didn't finish my schooling. And what I was good at school was maths and computers. And so I went into computerized accounting, and I taught myself, and I was fantastic at that. And at the time, it's what I needed to pay the bills. And I kind of like maths and I like accounting, but I didn't like working as much, working in a job as much. I wanted to be free, do you know what I mean? So over the years, from age, let's say 18, when I began, I built up clients, and I built up a portfolio of clients and kind of had my freedom as a freelancer. But by the time I was 25, my daughter started nursery. And that meant that I wasn't able to go all over London picking up and be able to pick up my daughter after school, after nursery. So I had to get a permanent job that was near my house. And that's how I ended up working full time as an accountant in this office. And in the first couple of years, I loved it. But as time progressed, let's say 4 or 5 years down the line, I kind of had this itch. I wanted to get back out and have my freedom. And so, like a lot of people, I started doing like my side hustles. I would always have some bottle of juice from a network marketing company on my desk, like ask me how, on the desk, a badge. And it's like, there's such a different mindset between employee and entrepreneur that my colleagues didn't like it. They would say, oh, you're always so positive, as though it was a bad thing. Yeah. And it's only so long that you can stay in this kind of atmosphere where your mindset is so different that you just feel uncomfortable to the point that I need to get out of here. I can't stay here anymore.
You feel like you can't breathe.
Couldn't breathe. Every time I went into the office, it would feel like I'm going underwater. I just felt like I'm diving, and now I'm going to hold my breath for the day. I would try and I would listen to, have your earphones in and listen to something positive, but it was hard. And while I was at work, all I could think about is, I just want the time to be at home with my kids. And then I'd be at home and I'd think, I should be with my kids, but I feel guilty because I want to work on my business. And I'll be working on my bit, it was just this whole tumultuous, this confusion of, I don't want to be here, but I'm not quite sure what to do. And so I had been going out and doing presentations and being, around London and building up somewhat of a name for myself outside of work, giving little talks about my juices and about my personal development and things that I was really passionate about at that time. And I came across a group of people that was super positive. All of them had this outlook that I wanted to have. So the next morning I go into work, instead of coming in and slumping in and wanting to put in my earphones and wanting to turn away in my little office and not see anyone, I was like, good morning. Hi, good morning, everyone. Hi, everyone. How are you today? Sat in my office, smiling, thinking, I ain't going to be here for much longer. I don't know what you guys are doing, but I felt happy. And my boss, the boss of the company, usually comes in, puts his head round the door, says good morning, and I'm just like, But this morning, he didn't say good morning. He went up to his office and I sat, hi, Daniel, thanks for sending me the email. What's happening? And he said, well, basically, you know that the company has been going through some changes and you have been here a long time. I had been there 6 years. What we've discovered is that in your department, we're going to need less staff. But because you've been here a while, you have the opportunity to go to the sales department or go to marketing department if you would prefer. Alternatively, you can take what we call voluntary redundancy. And voluntary redundancy means that we'll pay you your full wage for the next 6 months. Months. I was like, my reaction is like, he was so nervous to tell me. And I was just like, So guess what I started doing? I was like, guess what, Daniel? I went to a seminar last night, actually. And I was thinking that I needed 6 months. And he was just thinking I'm a nutter. You've just given me the key. And I know that this is what it's meant to be. And I was excited. And I was like, yep, I'll take that voluntary redundancy. It was summer of 2006. The school holidays were about to begin for my kids in the July. And he said, I know you haven't spent much time with your children for a while. So if you want, you can start from the beginning of the month next week. You don't need to come back. We'll just arrange everything. You need to sign these documents. You need to get a lawyer, make sure you understand them, sign them, we'll give you the money. So that was the transition for me, that I got this money, called my fiance, happy. Like, guess what? They're giving me everything that I said that I wanted. You know, we can do everything that we had planned now. So I had this money. And it should have been the beginning of my entrepreneurial career. But what I didn't realize, I guess, was that the thinking of an employee doesn't transition very well to being an entrepreneur. You think you're your own boss with all this time and choices and money, and now your customers are the boss and they are a difficult ones to please. You got to do a lot more. You got to work a lot harder. You got to work more hours. But that has come with hindsight. So
you've had 2 transitions during that. Sorry to cut in, but you've had 2 transitions during that period. The first transition was where you were ready to move, but you were stuck in a situation that caused you stress and impatience and irritability. That's where the body and the mind is transitioning over, because you've realized, I want something different here, I want something more. And then when it lands in your lap, exactly what you asked for is exactly what you got, then you've got to make another transition. So you go from thinking small as an employee to thinking, you know, there's no boundaries. You're thinking right outside the box as somebody who is an entrepreneur.
Absolutely. I think you hit it spot on. I thought, yeah, now I'm an entrepreneur. So what do I need to get? I need to make sure I show up as a business. I bought stuff. Oh my goodness. I looked back at my emails when I was preparing to do my webinar the other day and looked at all the things that I had bought, and I just thought, what were you doing? I invested in every exhibition. I invested in a stand at this event. I invested in graphic designers for the bright logo and the letterhead. Where am I going with letterheads? I mean, come on, girl, come on. I invested in flyers. You know, when you got those boxes of 10,000 flyers when you only needed 100? I had boxes of flyers for this one and boxes of flyers for this one. I invested in an exhibition stand that took up half my kitchen in its box. And I remember squeezing around it to cook. But I had my exhibition stand. And then I really thought, I'm going for it. You know, I'm going to pay to speak at this event, and I'm going to travel here, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this. And it was challenging because I still had 2 kids to support. I still had a mortgage. I had a fiance. We had planned to marry the following summer, July 2007. And I needed to be able to contribute to that wedding. So all this money that I thought was big wasn't actually that much money if I wasn't replacing it. You understand? So I thought that all these things were investments that were going to give me something, and that I needed them because this is what a business needed. So over these months, it went down and down and down. And then I was watching this and thinking, you need to do something big. And the big thing was there was going to be an exhibition in March, April of the following year, because we went through Christmas and it wasn't a great Christmas. We knew that something was going wrong. My partner was being chased for money because he hadn't been very good for money. And I realized every time that I got a deal or did something correctly, then he would need that exact amount. It's like he was manifesting and I was the universe, just, applying this exact amount. Like, isn't it funny? It manifested the exact amount. And I'm like, well, not quite, because I'm having to pay it. So it got like that. But I heard about this big event in that time, March, April, and I thought maybe that's it. There's going to be 1,700 people. People have said to me that, yeah, my idea is good and people will buy it. That's how I thought about business at that time. Your friends saying, yeah, that's a good idea, was market research to me. I had not asked my ideal clients. I had not tested any kind of price. I had no idea. So I'm like, yeah, these people said it's good. I'm going to sell. I'm going to get all this money back. Look at you laughing. I'm like, but that, I mean, I look back and I'm just like, come on, girl, but you don't know. You don't know when you just leave your job that that's not the way it goes, and that your friends are going to say nice things because they love you and they want to be supportive.
What you needed at that time, Sophia, was a mentor.
Crazy. So I go to this event now, yeah, I'm just packed out, and I got my exhibition stand. It looks really good. What I'm selling is a loyalty card for the Black community. I even went as far as getting real cards printed. They looked amazing. They were designed and they were cards where you can, a buyer's club, where you can buy one of these cards, or you can support businesses and go in and they'll give you a discount. So it was kind of like a bartering system. And I had loads of these cards, and stand looked amazing. It looked like nothing you had ever seen. I don't know what the hell I was thinking, but that's what I did. 1,700 people. Most of them did like a little U like that around my stand there. What's that? Some of them came up because they recognized me. Like, hi, Sophia, what are you doing? Oh, I have the next business card, buyer's card. This is what it looks like. Yeah. That looks like a good idea. I'm going to go around, yeah? Come back later. Out of a couple of thousand people, I think I may have made 3 or 4 sales. This was the last of my money. I'd gone all in for this. Not only did I need to make money to keep moving, I also needed to make money to pay like my mortgage, to do things in the house. I hadn't paid bills. I was in arrears. By that point, the discussions with my partner had got so bad that, like, maybe it was my energy, probably was my energy. But he did not want to live there anymore. He said, you know what, I think I'm going to try and find my own place. This was February. We're getting married in July. I'm going to find my own place. And I took that as, okay, it's over. That's fine. This guy's not helping me anyway. This is a complete imbalance. So February, he was gone. March, I did this event. April, I was in a desolate place because I had no idea where the next money was coming from. I'd used what I had. People didn't want the thing that I'd invested in. All I've got is these flyers. No one's going to buy these flyers, they're nonsense. And I felt that I didn't have anyone, because I felt that I'm talking this big game out into the market. I've started this whole big thing, and I didn't know who to go to and say, like, this isn't working. I really need some help here. I didn't understand the power of a network and a team in the right way, of people that would be there to support you in the right way, not just by telling you it's good and telling you you could go for it, but really being there. And so I got to this place where my house, the mortgage company were taking me to court for this money. If I did not pay, they were going to take my house away. I mean, my dream had to have my own house by the time I was 30. I had done that. My dream was to have the car and the house and all these things that I thought that I should have by 30. And I had done that. And now I had no way to keep them. I don't even think I had the electricity on, because I remember it was daytime and I sat there in darkness.
Yes.
And I sat there in darkness alone with my house going up in the court, thinking I have no money. I need like $5 grand right now and can't pay it. I have one friend. I'm just going to tell my one friend. He was actually there at the seminar and saw how disappointed I was and how drained, and had called into me. And I'm like, okay, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. I was not fine. And thankfully, I had a friend that heard that in my voice. You need friends that can hear what is being said beyond what is said.
That's right.
And I explained the situation. Look, I don't have any money left. They're going to take my house. I've got the kids. I've got nowhere to go. I've got no family. I've got no friends. All I've got is this damn exhibition stand, you know. I have nothing. I don't know what I'm going to do. I have nowhere to go. And he said, okay, who can you ask? Who can help you? I said, well, I could ask my in-laws, but I don't like asking them for anything. I could ask my dad, but I've never asked him for anything in my life. You know, I'm never going to give him the pleasure of asking me. I was sat there in my pride, about to lose my house, not wanting to ask people that could help me for help. And anyway, my friend who heard that pride in me, like, come on, get over yourself, ask for the money, you need it. What are you going to do tomorrow? What will you do at the end of the month if you can't make these phone calls?
And it's also not just about you, because there are children, your children were involved as well. So it is about the universe testing us. It brings us challenges, and sometimes you have to step out of your own way to get where you need to be. And in your instance, it was your pride that was keeping you stuck.
So true. So true. So I swallowed my pride and I made phone calls. And I explained the situation, and my in-laws gave me money. Well, they gave the money directly. It had to be it was so urgent. It had to be sent directly to the court to stop all of this, get it paid. Did the same with my dad, got it paid. And there I found that little break, that little sigh of relief. Okay, one aversion, that's one aversion that I've made. There's one fire that's put out. What next? And I called my friend back, like, all right, I did that. I've saved the house, but what can I do now? I can't really go back out there. I'm a failure. I messed up everything. Like, I probably have to go and get another job now because I just don't know what to do. And I was nervous. And he gave me the words that have propelled me from there to here. And I'll tell you what there to here is. But what he explained to me is, Sophia, how can you answer this? Can you tell me about anyone that was successful but never ever felt like a failure? Can you tell me about anyone that you see as a winner that has never lost? And I thought, no, everybody that's successful talks about things that didn't go right and that failed. And he said, well, then can you see this situation in your life as a stepping stone, as something that once you get through it, is going to lead you on to bigger things? Perhaps this will be a story that you tell one day. Hello. Perhaps it will. Perhaps it will. And it is. And I took that to heart. I mean, I really took that to heart. It elevated me no end. I thought, there is nothing here that can defeat me if I believe that it's a stepping stone. If I believe that I need to get out of this part, make this a stepping stone and move on to what's next. What's the solution? What should we do? And so I did that. Between that point and this point, I spoke about on a webinar the other day, and I can give a replay of the slow version, but the quick version for you is that a month after that, I was given an opportunity. It might have been weeks, less than a month after that, I was given the opportunity to learn from millionaires, billionaires, about how to be successful in business, how to do the marketing, how to do the copywriting. I saw them on the stage and they inspired me. The same friend paid and took me there. Right. And that was a good friend. We're still friends now. And every time I talk on anything, I'm like, do you know how pivotal your words were in my life? The next month I did that. The next month after that, I was headhunted again to be a wealth creation coach at that time, mentor for an events company. And there I learned this path to wealth. I realized what I had done wrong, and I had learned all of that. A couple of months after that, I was headhunted again. I just kept getting opportunities. All that work that I've been doing without reward started to reward me. You know, I've been sowing seeds, going out there, speaking this message, talking about all the things I wanted to do, and people had heard me, but maybe hadn't realized how we could work together. The ideas came to them as I put it out there into the universe, like, I need help. Give me opportunities. I can be of service. It's like people heard it. Oh, Sophia, she could be of service. Let me call her. And they called me. So I went to that boot camp to learn about business. It was called the Business Boot Camp. I went and learned how to become a wealth creation mentor. At that time, I really wanted to speak publicly and to travel. I was then headhunted by the Voice newspaper to become their outreach and talk about them. So I got to travel and speak in communities all over the world. I then realized, you know, this power of the mind was so powerful that I wanted to write a column, and I called it Wow the column, about all these wows that had happened for me. And they were now paying me a regular income. So I started to build back up my income. And then I did Wow the seminar. I realized I wanted to put it in front of people and be in a room and be like those people that I'd seen. And I did it myself. I knew now how to write copy, how to market it, how to get people in a room, how to speak. And I did that, and that became huge. And then I wanted the money that I felt that I was worth was 6 figures by then. I was like, I need a 6-figure income. And over the next just over a year, I got another opportunity where someone reached out to me in network marketing, and I worked that. And by the next year, I had the 6 figures. And then I was like, okay, I really want 7 figures now. I really want to be a millionaire. And it went like that, like that, like that, like that. I mean, from that short space of time, 2006, 7, where at 2006, I left my job. 2007, I was flat broke. 2008, I really worked this. 2009, I got the opportunity for 6 figures. 2010, I was at 6 figures. You know, just 3 years, I was at 6 figures. By 2014, 15, I was at 7. You know, all the time, we're over 7 now. Like, now I live in Spain. Now my house is filled with light. I have to keep the browns down. I'll never sit in darkness again. Sorry for myself that I don't see a way out, because I know that everything in life is there to happen for me, not to me, for me and for you. Life happens for us, not to us. And only when someone can speak those words and explain that where you are is a stepping stone, it can cause that light to kind of take away the darkness and to move you forward and to give you the next opportunity. The opportunities come. And by following your heart in the right way, you realize that everybody has dark moments. It's not about income. In fact, even the billionaire friends that I have still worry about things. There's always something to work on. Know that no life is perfect, no matter what you see on the internet. There's always something that people are striving for and working towards, because that is the nature of life. It's here, this classroom working for you, you know?
This has been a fantastic conversation, Sophia, and also you've made some statements which I'm hoping that many of the listeners will take on board. This year, 2020, has been phenomenal for so many people, either in a negative way, positive way, or they're still falling out of it. Well, one of the things that I have experienced myself is I decided I don't want to live the way I'm living, and I've been living for a long time, and that is surviving. I've been in survival mode for such a long time, it's just become the norm. I didn't even recognize that I was surviving until I was told, you know, you've done some amazing things, why are you struggling? And if you don't believe that you are worth more, and you're just going from day to day repeating that cycle, you don't ever get that chance to stop, think, plan. But what I have come across this year is many people have been forced to face themselves. They have been forced to be truthful and honest about where they're at, and they're making some huge decisions, men and women together. And it's been around business. They've decided, I don't want to do this job anymore, or I need a higher rate of pay, or I want to go back to education and retrain and do something that brings in a bigger income. But it's not just about the income, it's also about that feeling of self-worth, that feeling of accomplishment and achievement. People are actually grabbing it now. They seem to be fearless in grabbing what they want from life and making plans and working towards how they see their life in the future. So I love the story that you've told. I love the fact that you're willing to share your experience, and I'm hoping that your conversation, or this conversation, is going to give people hope. It's going to give people the self-belief that they need to take that next step. But also, you have demonstrated how moving on from one situation to another does take planning, and it does take a lot of self-belief, because without self-belief, when the challenges come, you will give up. If you have that self-belief, even if you don't know how you're going to get to the next stage or improve your life, if you have that self-belief, you will keep going. And you had that self-belief. You didn't know how, you didn't know where, you didn't know when. And there was a bit of stubbornness, because we're only human. But you actually decided to take a breath one day and just say, this is what's happening. And fortunately, there was somebody there with a good heart and a good mind that believed in you too and gave you some answers. Well, they actually asked you some questions, so you were able to think of the answers, and that propelled you forward. So if, as we're coming up to Christmas, it's coming up to the end of the 2020 for a lot of people, on a positive note, if somebody is thinking about moving on or improving their life or wanting to live their life to the fullest, what advice would you give?
The first step in everything is to know why you want it. You have to have purpose behind every focus, every mission. Try and build a picture of what it is that you truly want, not based off what you've seen from anyone else, but what does your heart desire?
Yes.
And if you ask yourself, you actually get the answer, in my experience. That thing that you really, really desire is actually yours to have. No matter what you've heard from others or yourself, is yours for the taking. And so, as Angela said, you know, it's about the belief. It's having belief in that aspect. So once you have that purpose of what it is that you want, the next step that I discovered the hard way, as you heard, was to verify the information that you get about the opportunities. Verify it, because well-meaning people will try to help or lead you in a certain way. But if you base decisions, important decisions about leading to where you want to go without verifying where that information came from, then it can lead you astray. You have to have facts, and you have to verify the facts. You don't take advice from, you know, Uncle Joe and Auntie Joanne, who have never been in that place where you would like to go, because chances are, if they've never been there, it's very difficult to show you where that place is and how you get there, as well-meaning as they may be. Making decisions based or focused on your purpose and based on facts is a trait of success. It's a huge trait. And when you have that, you'll be able to make decisions easily and follow your heart more easily and say no with complete ease, which is a challenge for a lot of people, right? So a challenge for a lot of people. When things then perhaps don't work out along the way, try and remember this conversation with Clarice and remind yourself it's just a stepping stone. I'm going to make it. It's just a stepping stone. It's taking me forward. Every time the stepping stones come, just be happy, because you're moving upwards. It's working. It's all working. That would be my advice for that person who wants to make transition. Go for it. Go for it. You know, life is not promised, and what you've seen is for you. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining me.
Welcome.